moment,
who is the sole administrator accountable to? That's what people are afraid of.
That is why it is called emergency rule. Which I told you, as a politician, I'm not happy. Okay. But to solve the situation, and that's where the president came in. And that's why those who know should now know that let's take this opportunity and say, look, I know this is the problem. Can you do this? Can you do this? You must make sacrifice.
Okay. Some will say,
if you are talking of those who know, shouldn't that include you?
It's not only coming out
shouldn't that
on national television.
Yes, Your Excellency, some will say, Your Excellency, that you, more than anybody else, should be the one also mediating this peace process. Simply because this is just less than a year after you left office. This is the legacy. As in, the governor was your man, the House of Assembly members are your people. So one would say you are even more of a stakeholder in making sure that this process of peace gets to fruition.
Now, let me tell you. But the some assembly people listen to me. It's not correct. But the government didn't listen to me.
Just see him as a stubborn son and then bring him.
No problem. Now, let me tell you something.
Have you heard the parable of the prodigal son?
Let me tell you.
The father left those who listened to him and went to search of that only one that didn't listen to him.
No, that's not prodigal son, no. That's not correct. When a prodigal son comes back and pleads, I said, look, forgive me. I've made a mistake. I want us to move forward. You are human. You are human. But in sincerity, let me tell you, 2 governors under APC reached me with an influential person from outside the state. 2 governors under APC. Right? Came to talk to me. And I said, look, I'm not the governor. I'm an FCT minister. There was a gang up against me here. And I knew there was a gang up. I had to put some structures on ground to see that there's peace. That I do my work. I don't need to allow enemies to capitalize on 1 or 2 things. Who will suffer is the administration of the president, who has confidence and put me in this place. So I don't need to begin to give excuse. You are a governor. You have a problem. I said these 2 governors came to me. And I said, look, I'm here for peace. What does he want? What does he want? And they said, look, we'll do everything to make it. I said, in sincerity, if anybody comes there to say, look, you want it, but it must be in sincerity. Let me tell you, the best opportunity was when President intervened. The day President intervened, the assembly people went immediately and withdrew the impeachment notice. You heard what happened. Some elders came up. President has no power. What he did was political. They went to court. They went to court. A lot of suits were instigated. Where did it lead us to now? Who is on suspension? Is it me? I mean, you must use wisdom. A whole president of a country called you, whether he was right or he was wrong, at least at that level. That's okay. Let me stomach. Let me listen to him. And you play your own part. Let the people not play their own part. Mr. President, he has played his part. These people are saying, look, do you understand what it takes? For 16 months, you seize people's salary. They don't pay their children's school fees. Most of us are just talking. Do you know what it takes? Let me ask all of you here, that your children are at home. Why? There's no money to pay their school fees. Why? Somebody has stopped my salary for 16 good months.
Your Excellency.
So, and nobody appears to take that into consideration, so the pains. And I expected that somebody should say, look, this thing should end. Let me go. Sir, man, we can't continue this way. Let's sit down and talk on the table. All this arrogance of going to national channels, arise to abuse anybody. You are here, they say I'm dead. They flew me out. All those things will not give you the peace. You carry coffin. Wike is dead. It's not my business.
I wanted to ask you, first you have said that you are open to forgiveness if the governor should come to you for forgiveness. Sincerely.
The audacity of that statement by Wike. I will forgive Fubara if he comes to beg for forgiveness. I mean, this is how godfathers speak. This is how they speak. They decide who to go where and when to turn, who to jump, and how high they should jump. The statement that he made, when you assess the statement and you strategically think about it and break it down, you realize all he's talking about is usefulness. He mentioned a lot of things, but I want you to watch this to the end. And also, if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. He said it. He said for Fubara to come beg for forgiveness. And if he does so, he will forgive him. These are the hallmarks. These are the points you use to decide how well a person is as a godfather of a place. And in this situation, he's acting as one in Rivers State. So let's break down this thing in analytically speaking. So Fubara comes to beg for forgiveness. Wike says to Fubara, let the things go back the way I wanted it to go before. I decide who will be your commissioners, who will be your house help, who will be your this, who will be your that. Then Fubara goes back to the stranglehold where he was before, where they were choking him before he broke free from it, just so that he can remain as governor. And if he does that, it gives Wike a structure back. They can then rig the 2027 election for APC so that what? Tinubu wins the presidency and the PDP wins the state. Rigging purposes as well again. Not because of the states wanted, but because of Wike wanted. And BK remains relevant. And Mewele and the 26 others stays in power as PDP representatives. But the people still suffer for it. Can you see the political arrangement? And with all the structure that the Tinubu administrator is putting down in Rivers State, dismantling electoral system that was there before and imputing new people, all of it is to do what? In the grassroots level, decide who becomes what? Because elections are won in the grassroots, in the local government. So you want to go there, infuse your people there, and then later you then say you won the election. And they write the elections for you. So they already have their mandate. They're always doing the task. So anyone that thinks that the moves that the APC are making is not get towards 2027, you're joking. And they're not apologetic about it. So when we're calling all of these things out, this corruption out, we're not apologetic about it. When you call out corruption, it's for example, if you look at all the other Western countries where there's a sense of advancement, when their politicians are doing wrong, they call them out. It's not because they dislike the politician, it's just because they know what you're doing is not going to work for the interest of the people, but yours alone. And what is literally happening here is that we've seen our reporters asking this kind of subservient kind of questions about forgiveness, the prodigal son, not questions like the constitutionality of the sole administrator. And Wike says it's emergency rule. How is emergency rule done in Nigeria based on Nigerian constitution? So answer that in the comment section. But this man says he will forgive the current governor if he comes to beg for his forgiveness. And then if he begs for forgiveness, then all the sins that Fubara has done will then be forgiven. And Amawale and his 26 others will then say, we're not going to impeach you anymore. So it then means that all along, it wasn't about impeachable offenses. It was always about Wike's structure. It was always about whatever Wike wanted. The puppet master telling the puppets what they need to do. And it's pulling the strings. This is where Rivers State is. This is where Nigeria is. Nigeria has become a lawless state. When they said Nigeria has become a crime scene, they went wrong. And politicians like this are the ones that make this our country useless, where people have no hope in the government because these politicians must cause havoc for them to be relevant. Do you understand? If you're impeaching Fubara for impeachable offenses that he might have committed, well and good. I mean, this is why I even address the people of Rivers State especially, but this goes for all of us in Nigeria and all other states as well. Look at your lawmakers. If they're not doing well, 2027, vote them all out. See, the only way Rivers State will be free from the stranglehold of Tinubu and Wike, especially 2027, is if you vote all of these guys out. Because they're already beholden to Wike. He said he was the one that bought them forms for their intention to contest for election in 2023. Do you think they're beholden to people of Rivers State? The answer is no. And for Wike needs to be relevant. And he needs those people to be relevant. And he needs those people to fight the fight for him. Because at the end of the day, if he gets his way, Tinubu gets the presidency, Wike stays relevant. He gets the position with continuous position with Bola Tinubu. The 26 other states in power still. And they all win, but the people of Rivers State still suffer. So it was never about the people all along. It was always about Wike and what Wike could offer to the opposition. If I borrow the words of Dele Farotimi again, this is fighting amongst thieves. And he is perfectly correct. All of these things happening to Rivers State reminds me of that scripture in the Bible where it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You can see the mourning all over Nigeria. When you have government that is not good for the people. Look at Rivers State. Look at the chaos one man has caused in Rivers State for his own selfish reason. Look at what the sole administrator is doing. Rivers State has no semblance of anything that relates to violence or crisis, but yet there's one there. But there's Plateau, there's Borno, there's Gamfara, there's Benue State. They can't fix it. It tells you the game plan is already about 2027. So wake up. So I'm telling all of you in 2027, especially those people from Rivers State, make sure you don't let those guys come back to a place of authority again near your state. Martin Amorele, the 26 orders, make sure you don't come. That's the only way you'll be free from the hands of this man Wike. Because he will pull the strings regardless. This is my own analysis of it. I'm just breaking it down. It's an analytical description of whatever you want to say about what is going on in Rivers State. At the end of the day, you have to remember, it's about him delivering Rivers State to APC and then making sure those lawmakers are PDP, if he still has that desire for it, or they defect later and they contest under APC, and then he himself defects as well later. They're just buying themselves time. And when you go speak to him about it, he will say this is politics. You have to know how to play the game. That's why we're strategically breaking this thing down for you to see. And this cuts across all the other states in Nigeria as well. We have to be very active. There's no time to waste anymore. These guys have already shown us what they're made of. What are we made of? Again, as I said, if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, do so. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.